All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Spring Legion podcast. Today I'm joining you alongside Austin Seals to my right, Chase Ferrier to my left. My name is Hunter Ferrier, and today we're going to be talking about some Osceolas for the first time this season. Going to be diving into a couple stories that I haven't heard yet, so I'm looking forward to that. Let's see, I don't know where to start. We're going to dive right into it, but I'm going to kind of let y'all take it away after I just let folks know we appreciate y'all listening, kind of do some of the housekeeping stuff that we would appreciate any kind of reviews, shares, likes, follows, subscribing to the YouTube. Remind y'all that this is a hunt that Chase self-filmed because of the way it turned out, which we're going to kind of get into that reasoning here shortly, that he self-filmed down in Florida that turned out to be a really cool one. So it was a pretty quick one, quick little episode, so to speak. But a lot of details were missed without a camera, so we're going to kind of dive into that, and that's why I'm looking forward to hearing about it, because this is one of those that we haven't really, this was kind of before we made our little vow to each other that we're not going to talk about the hunts that we go on after a certain point, so we can kind of come in here and get a good authentic storytelling for folks to hear, for us to listen to, and get some, real reactions, real questions, stuff like that. Nothing rehearsed or staged or anything at that point. Nothing that has been heard that we already know the answer to, and kind of just filling up a bunch of time on the podcast SD cards. So this is going to be some real convo. I know a little bit of it just because I saw the video that everybody else has been able to see, but that's about the extent. We hadn't sat down. I wasn't able to head down to Florida this year. This was right around the time that wife was having a baby, and birthday of my other one, and all kinds of stuff. So, I might have a couple questions for y'all, but I'm looking forward to hearing about it, because I do love hunting in Florida. It's one that we've gone to. Seals, you've gone 3 years in a row, I think, and I went 2 years prior. So first time, a little odd for me not to go. You know, so
this was my first time in Florida, period,
exactly.
too. So yeah, it's a bunch of new things, old things in the mix, I think. So,
which I love hearing other folks' first experiences of stuff, regardless if we've been able to, to experience the same. It's always fun what you expected versus what what it really looked like, what it sounded like, what they acted like, the differences in them, and so I'm gonna let one of y'all dive on into it, so to speak.
This was kind of a winging it hunt for sure, because the year prior, well, I guess 2 years prior, it was just me and you kind of winging it on with Kimbo kind of giving us the idea, he pretty much gave us a gate key and said, here it is. We had a lot of land to cover too, a lot of pretty good land. And then the year after that, it was with NWTF, and then last year, Kimbo didn't have the land that me and you've been hunting, but he hooked us up with a guy that we traded a deer hunt with, and he let us come turkey hunting. So we never met him, and I called him.
Explain Kimbo.
Kimbo is
we kind of met Kimbo while we were down there.
So we knew the guy that had a lease
down
there.
This is what, 2021?
Yes. So we knew a guy that had the lease down there, and Kimbo was kind of his groundskeeper, I guess.
Yeah.
He had the lease, or was in the camp, I guess is what it was, but it was several of them that just leased it all, and he let Kimbo hunt it, and Kimbo in turn just checked during turkey season to make sure, or throughout the year, to make sure there's no trees down, make sure nobody was poaching, just kind of overseeing it.
Somebody who lived low, because I think the best way I understood it was a couple of other folks in the camp or the area, whatever, didn't live nearby necessarily, right. And he was at least pretty local to the area as far. That's what
like
I picked
10 minutes
up.
from. Yeah, lived like 10 minutes.
So he was there to, if he needed to meet Forest Services or whoever they had coming out there, he was the guy that did all that. Who did all that, checked on things, and but yeah, that was our first experience with Florida, and this geographically, this is central-ish. This is
west side.
Yeah, central of the west side. I mean, I know we're around Ocala-ish area, or that might have been the year after that. I don't remember.
No, it was the same general area. It was kind of around Chiefland.
Yeah. Okay. I do
That's
remember
kind of where
that.
we were. But we showed up there, and this is
And y'all in the same area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
same. I mean, I think we were probably 35 minutes from where
Really?
we went.
Okay.
But we showed up there and met the guy, and this land is absolutely beautiful for dog hunting.
Oh.
yeah. Yeah.
So
How many
one of
acres
them.
was it? It was a bunch of land.
Like 6,000 acres.
Yeah, and so the whole time,
But-
like, we're thinking, man, we got 6,000 acres
Yeah.
free range on,
Pumped
we,
up.
you know, all this, and we roll up, and we're like, oh.
Yeah.
I mean, he says he's a deer hunter, and we're like, oh, well, you know, it's probably pretty managed, pretty, you know, food plots and stuff like that. And then he rolls up, and he's got a dog box sticking up
God.
about 2 feet out of the back of his truck, and we were like, so you dog hunt? And he's like, I fox hunt and run deer dogs. And we were like, okay.
Not good.
And we get about 100 feet in past the gate, and we both look at each other and go, yep, this is a good dog hunting area.
I mean, it was like where you know, we knew nothing about it, so we kind of looked at it on X coming in, the main chunk of it, and kind of had what we thought was an idea. That
Right.
It didn't look the same when you looked at it in person,
Really?
because obviously you're looking at it from the top. But
Right.
we got out, and he's like, "Yeah, this is probably where I would start out." And looked to the right, looked to the left of the road, and it looked like a solid wall.
Yeah.
And I looked at Chase, I was like, "Oh man."
We're about to have a long week here.
Yeah, but so that kind of gives you an idea of where we started.
Right.
And so we stayed there. We didn't get in there till 4 o'clock. Well, it's probably later than that. When
It
we
was
met
cold,
him at the
if I remember
Well,
correctly.
yeah. It was like mist and rain. Was it mist and rain the first 2 days or something like that?
It was on and off, and it was real foggy.
It was real foggy and cold. Cause
I was I with y'all
Yeah, no.
before?
yeah, we went.
Y'all
to
were doing some kind of trade show or something, because I remember I had to meet some of y'all. I wasn't in Mississippi, but it wasn't long before that. I was
No,
keeping up with y'all, obviously.
You were in Mississippi, and you left the day that we did the trade show going back to Georgia. Because this was right after we had our opening hunt. And
Yeah, this was no time after the Mississippi
Right,
Delta hunt.
right.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it was
you
like the
left-
following week or whatever. Yeah.
you left when we left to go to the trade show that morning. You left and went back to Georgia.
Gotcha.
So we wrapped the trade show up, and we actually went to we stayed in Orange Beach with my
Really?
family,
Right.
and then got up the next morning and drove the rest of the way. But it was very cold, very foggy, and it did do some misting. And
Because we were planning on staying at the land in our truck.
yeah,
And when it got so cold, we were like, you know what? Let's just cash in on a one night hotel room, and stay the first night and get some good sleep, because we've been driving and stuff, and you know we'd slept in the condo that was not necessarily fit for as many people as we
Yeah.
had and stuff. So we were like, let's get some good sleep, and you know then we start out the next morning. I guess you want to get to that point now, or where you want to finish what you were saying?
well, I was we stayed, and we didn't get there till later. We met him. He kind of rode us the roads, and
Right.
you know, he finally said, "Here, y'all go. Call me if you need anything." So me and Chase, and we had probably 20 minutes till dark, and we sat there and listened to see if we can hear anything fly up. Just stay there till dark mainly.
Right.
And
Where else you gonna go?
right, and nothing happened. So we went back to the hotel, got the best game plan we could together, and
Which was no game plan,
Which was
practically.
nothing to go
Yeah.
on.
nothing to go on. So it's kind of like throwing a needle in a haystack on 6,000 acres.
We'll stop the truck here pretty much and go from there.
Right, but I guess we got lucky,
Mm-hmm.
and we stopped the truck. We eased up, walked up probably 300 or 400 yards to where a road teed into the main road, and we listened, and we did have one gobble.
Really?
No. Actually, we had pulled the truck up to where that T
That's right.
in the road
That's
was.
right.
I forgot about that part. So we had that one up bird gobble in front of the truck. What was that, 200 yards in there?
Not far.
Maybe 100 yards in there. And I mean, it's thick. It's palmettos. It's, thick pine plantation. Just, they're big enough. Everything's grown up underneath it. Like you think of like thin pines after 2 years. I mean, it's thick. And we're like, ain't no way there's turkeys, roosting up in there. So we think we need to go down the main road, get around the bend from the truck, and we'll be about level with them as far as depth from the truck goes.
Right.
they'll be
after you heard them, or
right. We heard them. Did we hear them at the truck? Is that right?
That you are right. I forgot about that. We got out of the truck and we're getting ready, and they gobbled.
Yeah, that's
and
what
I was
it was.
like, Chase,
they're kind of close.
put this thing in neutral and let me push it backwards.
Yeah,
because they were that close.
Wow.
But anyway, we got it in. He got it in reverse.
No, we left it there. We went and set up one time, and then they ended up headed back towards the truck. Remember that?
You moved it the second time.
And I moved it.
That's right.
We ran to my truck, got in it, and I backed it up around the curve 50 yards just so it couldn't be seen down the T of this road. And we sat probably 20 yards in front of where the truck was originally parked.
Yeah, you moved it after we got on them.
So, yeah, because we had went down the main road around the little bend so where you couldn't see the truck from, the 100 yards or so. And we were level with them in the woods to the open area that was, still tall grass. We thought it was going to be bush hogged, but it wasn't. It was just, but it wasn't trees in there. And we figured they'd get on that main road on the edge of the transition there. Good spot to cut them off or call them to.
But Florida turkey's a little different. They can pop up here and there and wherever they want to. They can go through some crap.
And see, I don't know this. So.
Well, to backtrack a little bit, if you remember, we did see very little sign in that sand.
Really?
Right.
That evening before.
Yeah.
And
I think we'd seen a track or two or something like that.
It
like
wasn't
nothing major, but like
wasn't nothing to hang your
a
hat
turkey
on,
had been on this road in the last 4 or 5 days.
Sometimes that's all as good as news you can get.
Right.
That was
ain't
all.
Nothing else.
And the T road, we never saw any tracks or nothing, so we were kind of like, they probably ain't gonna go that way.
Yeah, and that was our game plan, is to go where we saw the few tracks.
Right.
Sometimes that's all you got. At least start.
But yeah, we did. We sat there and we, they answered us. They
right.
It was 2 of them. They gobbled, had the camera going, and we were. It's if you take a block, the way this land runs, because it's dog place, it's set up in blocks.
Mm-hmm.
So you have rows to cover all
to cut
4
blocks
sides,
off, yeah.
and so we sat where we saw the tracks, and these turkeys flew down and they paralleled us kind of, and that's when we ran back to the truck and Chase backed it up, like you said, not probably 50 yards, and we went down that T road and set up. And by the time we got down that T road, these turkeys
were about to come out.
They were about there.
Really?
Yeah.
So we, in a frenzy, just set up where we could.
Right.
And we did. We positioned ourselves pretty good because we set up where that bend was, where they had to come around, and we were sitting there, and they crossed the road on the other side of that bend, probably what, Chase, 80 yards?
They're about 80 yards from us, yeah. 75, 80 max.
And it was
2 longbeards.
It was 2 longbeards, but
hens.
it was pretty because the way the sun was shining on that road, you could see, and that's when Chase first noticed that green tint they have.
Right.
That sun was hitting them just perfect. You could see that green tint on their back, and it was.
And one of them stopped in the road for a good little while there.
Yeah, I thought he was going to do it.
We're like, he's going to have to break off, and come up here or something, or they're going to circle in his woods. We're ready. Like, even though it's a botch set up, everything's just kind of gone wrong, unexpected. We now have a turkey to hunt where we didn't expect
that's a plus, it sounds like.
Yeah, it was a plus, but like it was just like, a little bit of chaos there for a minute, and if we would have had another 5 minutes before we felt like they were going to pop in the road, which they were answering calls and everything, and we were just trying to get further down that road because I had a feeling they're going to go on one side or the other, this little mild bend in the road or a little pinch in the road or whatever it might have been.
Well, it was a pinch, but it was also like a little drain that had an opening. Because me and Chase were like, if we could get up there in gun range of that drain, because where it was a thick wall of stuff, where that little, and I say a drain, I'm talking about like a half-foot elevation drop, just a very small drain. We're like, it's open there. If I had to guess, that's where they're going to cross. So, and that's exactly where they crossed.
Really?
But we
couldn't get within 40 yards of that. Simply because the turkey gobbled on the edge and we were like down, like jumped.
Kind of glad he did, probably.
Yeah,
if he wouldn't have, we'd have bumped
him 100%. But we never heard those birds again.
Really?
No, we sat there probably another hour. And like Chase said, we were sitting there and just knew that they were going to loop
just get in the edge of the woods and loop
That's
on
what
us.
I was kind of thinking.
Yeah. And never, like once they got into the woods, I don't remember them gobbling. Maybe
never heard them again.
One more time, right when they got off the road, and then silence.
Yeah, the last time they gobbled, he was right off the edge of the road, and I could still see him.
Right.
But once they went out of sight, that was it. Didn't hear nothing.
Found the hens. And,
well, they had them.
Well, they had them.
they
They had
did?
hens.
Yeah.
So like, it would have been tough to put. Like that was the thing. They were answering us a lot on the limb, or right where they were roosted, but they weren't coming to the left. They were going straight line.
That's one of those you kill on the day two. Now that you know what.
Now that you know where
what
he
it looks
crossed.
like.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. So I mean, it was just he had a place in mind, or they had a place in mind. They were headed.
They probably do it a lot.
And they were getting there.
Yep.
And the next morning, they were not roosted there.
Really?
They weren't anywhere.
They were not in earshot.
Well, they may have been roosted there. We did not hear them.
We may have spooked them or something.
If they gobbled, they weren't in hearing range. So.
But yeah, so after we realized that we sat there a good while, because like at that point we were like, this may be the only turkey that we can hunt.
That's a mindset you get in real quick. If it doesn't look promising. A bird in hand is worth a lot, like a whole week sometimes. I've been on the wrong side of that where I know the chances aren't great, and I kind of let one slide by. And, we'll have other those opportunities don't come. That was it. You should have honed in on that one turkey because that's all you had, and then you waste 2 days looking for one that's not there. That's a mental note that I've always kept in the back of my mind the past several years. Was like, do not leave a goblin turkey for a turkey that you don't know exists.
Right.
You know, don't leave this one, even if he's not doing what you want him to do or not what you thought he was going to do. Backtrack and replay that through your mind a couple times slower. I'm going to leave this turkey that I've been hunting where I know where he is to go try to find a turkey where I don't know who he ain't.
Yeah.
And I don't know where he's going, where he's been, if he's there at all, if he exists.
Right.
I at least know the situation, but I have lucked into a lot of turkeys by leaving them, I'm going to find one. But there's been several times I'm kicking myself, like, why did I do that? I knew where this one was. He just wasn't doing what I wanted him to do.
That's all all it boils down to.
Well, on this one, we didn't leave him. I mean, we
stayed in
there
the area.
Really?
Till
The
probably lunch.
The same area.
Well, no, still probably lunch. And then finally we're like, I have no...
We need to put eyes on the rest of this place, kind of.
I don't know where this turkey went.
You might not be in a good spot.
Right. So there may be 10 in the backside that we didn't go to,
Yeah, so we ended up, we would drive a mile in there and we'd stop and we would walk and walk and walk and never,
Still thick.
Yeah.
And we tried to stay on the roads majority of it, but then at one point we were finally like, bailing off.
Yeah, well, my thoughts on that is just so much land and it's so thick, they're not really going to see us.
Right.
So if we just ease around and listen on the roads, because if we'd have walked, we'd have never covered it. And then finally, I think we found some decent looking, not as thick areas that had not only the boundary roads, but had little small four-wheeler lanes going through it. So we walked them, just listening and
is this like white sand roads? Like those not?
The main road is.
Right.
The main road.
So you can walk quietly if you are walking.
Yeah. And everything else is pine needles. So
okay,
we were silent walking around. Yeah.
I mean, even in the truck though, with an exception of the motor, you couldn't hear.
Right. I've driven down some in Florida. I'm like, man, this is like a golf cart.
Right.
You put this thing in neutral, let it ride, and you can gain a lot of ground.
Right. So, and we'd get to a fork in the road or something, and we'd get out and walk. Or before we go around a bend, we gonna stop, cut the truck off, go walk glass above the bends, and as far as we can see these straightaways and things like that. We weren't just like cruising around the whole day. We were just using it to get to certain areas, different blocks. Yeah,
almost have too much land on your hands. If it could have been cut in half, and you couldn't hunt that half, you probably hunted it a little differently.
100%,
I agree. But we hadn't found another turkey at this point, so we're like just get everywhere we can today.
Start checking them off.
If we bump one, we bump one. We got 5 more days to hunt because we
know where he's at.
Yeah, you at least know there's a turkey on this side of the property or not.
Or also like just looking for sign. Like we walk around just seeing if we could see where some have walked, some have dusted, some struck anything, and
we didn't find
much
of any.
Nothing.
We may have seen one more track the whole day.
So that was pretty much our day. We stayed from daylight to dark. And then
was it that day we ended up going to the cutover area just to check out our camp spot?
No, we did that the night with him.
With him, yeah.
Yeah, the night we met him.
So we pull up to this. It's another gate on the other side of the property. I guess they have a corner that meets at some point or something. A very small track, and And we pull up, and apparently when they log down there, or this may be a normal thing. It's just the first time I had seen it, but it was like
turn rows almost.
Turn rows,
or,
yeah,
road up.
Yeah, but it was smooth. It was
the same thing on me and yours. Your first turkey we killed when we were sitting between those two. That's what it would look like.
Okay, so I didn't know.
Ditches everywhere.
It's just a ditch every other foot. Yeah,
there's got to be
mound.
a reason. I just don't know what it is.
It's probably something with the erosion of the sand of some sort.
Could be.
Like when they log it, they have to do that.
But
for
it's
some
big.
reason. Yeah, they're big humps. Yeah. And this is a 80-acre block of that, 100-acre block maybe.
100 acres.
And it's just a square, and they own like the fence line. Not necessarily the fence line, but there's a 100-yard buffer of trees on each side of it, and that's the only woods on this section except for the corner that touches their other property. So we wrote that place off.
Yeah,
100%. And there was like an old rundown camper or something there that somebody used to stay at a deer, considered a deer camp, and we were like, that's where we'll truck camp. It's close to the road. Ain't no turkey gonna be over here, So like, we didn't think about hunting that side at all. That'll come back in later, but I just want to say that now to give the visual of that. Mm-hmm. But pretty much that was day one. We hunted till dark. Walking, calling. We were pulling out locator calls. We ain't ever thought about using coyote howls and like just trying new things.
Which, from what I've learned in the little bit of Osceola hunting I've done, it's docile. It's a coin. Like sometimes they gobble, sometimes they don't, and when they don't, they don't, and when they do, they do. Yeah, kind of do. And there's really no rhyme or reason to half of it. I feel like.
I don't know. And also, I may have mentioned this a minute ago, but this is the first time me and Sills have ever hunted together alone without you. Yeah. We've hunted those 2 hunts with, Buchanan and the year prior, all 3 of us, and that was the only.
Yeah, I only hunted just y'all.
That was our first time. So this is the first day of me and Sills hunting one-on-one. We're trying to figure all that out
getting
too.
All the like, so you gonna hoot?
Wait,
or you want me to hoot?
Do we do this? Do we do that? Yeah.
Just working out.
And and we're throwing the camera in, which is new to us too. It's a learning curve to this whole trip. And did we expect you to be there, Hunter?
Mm-mm.
We knew you weren't. Okay,
I had no plans.
I couldn't remember. Okay. I couldn't remember if you had or hadn't. But like it was new for me to hunt with Austin and all that. So. I mean, that was our first day. Was just we felt like I got our tail whooped after 8 a.m.
We went to the dang huddle house that night and just looked at each other and what
are we doing?
Earth are we doing?
And we got on the maps. We were trying to find public around us. Yeah. We're like, we got 6,000 acres handed to us, and we were calling you for ideas of pins or people
or a friend hey, do you know anything about this area? I'm like, no, I ain't never been, but at the same time, I'm like. Hold on, let me look. I started pulling up like I was there and trying to hunt it and figuring out what I would. This is where I would go to. This is where I would, with no eyes being laid on it. I'd try this, and I don't know if any of them worked.
We'd already seen some of them. Yeah. And we were like, we knew that pin looked good, but when we got there,
it wasn't.
It was a fox den.
I had several pins dropped on where I thought we needed to start, and it, me and Chase looked at them that looks like a pretty good starting point.
Mm-hmm. And got there, and and that was what we did a lot the first day after those birds worked off. Is we went to every pen that we had thought about, backup spots, extra spots. We went to all those, and I'm telling you, every single one of them didn't match up what we thought was going to be on the maps.
Well, and also to say this was before Onyx had the recent imagery.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So what we had a lot of was deer and deer season when they had food plots planted in some of this stuff, and it looked
which is now head high sawgrass, and stuff turkeys won't walk in or will avoid, and we were scratching our head hard for a lot of that first day or two.
Yeah, and day 2, after we got to the huddle house, our plan for the next day was. Let's just go back where we know those turkeys were, where they were roosted. We'll park the truck at the gate rather than drive in. We'll slip in and just listen.
Right.
Maybe hoot, let them give themselves away. We'll go sit down. If they're in the same spot, we'll sit down where they cross because there's not really – I'm sure they would, but there was no other spot that looked open to where they would want to cross.
Right.
So, man, we did that and waited. We sat there and listened, nothing eased around, made a couple more where we thought we didn't see any sign, but potentially turkeys could be that we found the day before. Nothing. So about lunch, I looked at Chase like, man, I don't know where we're going, but we're going somewhere.
We're going to stay in here.
We're going to find public land. So I was like, let's just pull over there to the camp area, and we'll change clothes, get some street clothes, get comfortable. Again, it was cold, and when we hit the road, I'll get on the map. Chase was driving, like, I'll get on the map and try to find us some public land that we can just ease into. We pulled up there, and I was actually taking my pants off to change clothes. And Chase said, you know what? While we're here, let's just walk to that tree line and see if we can at least hear anything on the property line.
Right.
Like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
and it was, I almost didn't want to ask him at this point because we were both
pissed off.
100% defeated.
Not pissed off, but defeated.
Aggravated, yeah.
Is this y'all's last day?
This is the second day, but it turned out to be the last day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Y'all had plans on
that
coming.
wasn't the third day.
It
was the second day.
Second day.
Yeah, and so like at that point we had called Hunter. We were like, if we don't sit here nothing in the morning, we got turkeys that we can hunt in Mississippi.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's kind of what we're at.
Mississippi's hitting right now, and we're hunting a rapid patch.
Right.
We were going to try to. I mean, I think our plan was halfway to not give up on Florida, but leave there. We were leaving around lunch and find some public land on the way home. See if we can find anything promising. If we do, hunt it the next morning.
Gotcha.
Right.
And then
was Alabama open at that point? Because that's what it was. We had Alabama the next weekend opener or something or another.
Yeah,
I can't remember
Alabama
quite.
Open.
I feel like we were thinking like, oh, we can phone a friend in Alabama and probably find a spot somewhere on the way home to hunt at least a day or two.
Well,
season wasn't right or something.
It wasn't open because our plan was, remember, to stay that week in Florida, and on our way back through, it opened that Saturday.
That's
and we
what
were
it
going
was.
to hunt with
Hunter and them, with our buddies.
Meet Hunter and them that Saturday.
Right.
And so we were just going to come home.
Stuck. Yeah,
so y'all weren't going to hunt
spot.
in Mississippi for a while. That's
right.
what it looked like.
Yeah.
You were like,
we might as well
go hunt in Mississippi while we can.
Yeah, if nothing's happening here, we're going to go, we may try one piece of public on the way home. If it doesn't look promising, we're going back to Mississippi. So
I'm sure it didn't help seeing Snapchats and other things about other folks killing in Mississippi.
No, we were getting plenty
That'll
of
get
them.
under your skin.
That was what was driving about half of it too.
But yeah, I put my pants back on.
Right.
We walked 100 yards across the cutover and hit this little tree line that couldn't have been 100 yards wide.
Yeah, maybe 200 max. Including the neighbor's property. We had probably 100 yards in there.
Yeah,
to hunt, and I guess like you were up to bat the whole trip.
Right, but we were.
But it was if you get a shot, also.
Right,
that's how we run everything.
We went in there and I think you hit a crow call, nothing happened.
Right.
We walked another 50 yards and you yelped, nothing happened a couple of times. We stood there 5 or 10 minutes listening. So I sat down and I was looking on X and I was trying to find public land. I was sitting right there and Chase like, I may just ease up a little bit and let's like, go ahead.
Right.
I said, I'll look and
keep an earshot of him is kind of what I thought.
4 years to 2 years kind of deal.
Yeah, like, ease on up, whatever. And I was looking at on X and a text message popped up from Chase. I was like, well, that's weird. Mm-hmm. And then the text message said, don't move. I was like, whatever.
Somebody coming here? Or somebody behind me?
You joking? I was like, he's just joking around. And I said, okay, I haven't moved. I'm trying to find us some land or some
something
land.
like that, yeah.
And I was like, I could hear him call, so he called again. I was like, yeah, funny. You're going to find we got 6,000 acres. You're going to find it on a 100-acre block with 2 acres of trees. Like,
right.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And I sat there and heard Chase keep calling. I mean, you take over Chase because you saw it. But from my perspective, I was just sitting there looking at my map.
Yeah. So when you sat down, I pretty much just said, I'm going to kind of walk around a little bit and just kind of look around.
I honestly think you told me that you were, because to preface this story, the guy said there's a bunch of airheads in that area.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure you said, I'm going to use around a call, see if I can find some airheads. Or
I
something.
probably did.
Yeah, something.
Because I know I was looking down because I found that, snail shell or whatever, or hermit crab looking shell. I don't know what it is, but it's big as the palm of your hand. And I found it and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
I had it in my hand And I cut the GoPro on when we stopped, I guess. And so you can see it in my hand, and I'm walking and calling and kicking, and scratching, sounding, and I'm like, I'm throwing the kitchen sink.
Oh yeah,
at 'em.
you got to.
Like I'm calling a lot, blind calling, and it's kind of a good example of walking and calling in the video, in my opinion. What I like to do when it is no chance and anything finding one. You just you're
something that's not there, and
right. And it was windy at that point, wasn't it? Yeah, the wind was cutting up on that open area of cutover. So, and you got palmettos in there making racket and all kind of other stuff. And I hit a yelp or something, and I hear pow, and I'm like, either that was somebody shoot a 22, or that was a turkey gobble. I'm like, I know it wasn't a turkey gobble. Like I put the two and two together. Like, ain't no way I found a turkey on this 100 acres of dirt and 2 acres of timber. I'm thinking that too. And sure enough, I kind of stopped, and I'm like, I say it to the GoPro or whatever. I'm like, or I say to myself, I'm like, that almost sounded like a turkey, or that might have been a turkey. And I'm in disbelief. So I yelp loud again one time, and I hear it again. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that was a turkey. So I kind of look back for seals, and I apparently have just gotten out of sight of seals.
Yeah.
Like 50 yards. It shows you how thick it is,
Yeah.
I'm like, where the heck is seals? And I finally see his leg or something. I'm like, seals. Nothing. I'm like, I got it. Like, I got to figure something out. And I yelped again, and he gobbled, and he was closer. I'm like, sorry, seals. At that point, I was like, it is what it is. I slip up, and there's like a little open area. I don't know, some water had held in there or something at some point. And so I can tell when I rewatch the video, I remember a lot of what was going through my head. I didn't move without kicking some leaves. I threw that cool beer bottle down and that snail shell down at a certain spot. I remembered, there it is, come back and get it. And I slipped up another 50 yards maybe, just kind of quiet and quick all at the same time. Didn't have my gloves. They were on the dash of my truck. Found a random pair that had full fingers in it, and I'm like, oh, I got to run a camera with full finger gloves or something like that. And or I just remember not being happy about whatever gloves I had.
And I don't even think we had the big camera.
No, you had the big camera.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was in the truck.
No, I'd carried it in there, but I left it with you sitting. Because I remember you walking up with it, holding it well.
I knew it wasn't.
Didn't get him on the big camera, but I had my little quick stick.
Yeah.
And
it's a good little camera.
It's good to have. That's what I film most of my stuff on. But anyways, so I get set down, stick my stick in the ground, and I yelp one or two more times, and he's coming. And at that point, I'm like, he's coming quick.
Yeah.
And I can see 20 yards maybe in there pretty good. And he gobbles one time, and I'm like, ain't no way I can't see this turkey. And then I see two hens pop up or, cut through something around a palmetto or something. I'm like, oh, it's about to happen. And they kind of come up between me and the cutover where I can kind of see their silhouette a little bit. And he curved back to the, I guess, left from in front of me. And I remember there was a big palmetto limb or kind of palm tree looking thing hanging up over. And I had one window, and after that, it was a wall of palmettos. And the coolest thing about that, and he gobbled, and I had to shoot him in the gobble. It was pow, and man, it was a quick hunt, fast hunt, and I didn't even know what had happened all at the same
Heart
time.
Rate still going up after.
Scared the crap out of me because all I heard was he shot mid yelp.
Yeah,
he was calling, and at the same time he shot.
Yeah, and it wasn't no like you would normally do, pop, just one little he was moving across that gap, and I had to cut loud enough, but he was fired up enough. He stopped long enough to gobble. But
to tell you how thick it was, Chase, I heard him shoot, so obviously I took off to see. And we probably weren't. I know you had said 50 yards ahead of me, and then you walked 50 yards. We were probably not 70 yards apart.
I was,
he was looking down.
I had moved around. I was cutting S's, kind of. I was zigzagging around.
A lot of times you kind of moving left.
Yeah,
right. We were probably 70, 75 yards apart, and I never heard a gobble.
Really?
I heard a shot.
Wow.
I never heard a gobble.
Yep.
Because I asked Jason when I said, did he come in quiet? And Jason's like,
No,
he
he
gobbled
gobbled.
like right there. I was like,
And a lot of those gobbles are not caught on camera because I'm filming with that little camera that ain't got a microphone.
It doesn't even have a microphone.
You can't hear but like 2 or 3 of the gobbles, barely. And I mean, he probably gobbled 15, 16 times in that 3 minutes of a hunt, and it was a good hunt by the end of it. It just all happened quick, and I mean, he was coming in ready to roll. I mean, and it was what, 11:30 or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
It was late in the morning, 11:30, 12 o'clock by the time. So he had bred the 2 hens that he had.
Probably.
I think we had found the 4 turkeys that were on this whole side of the road.
Yeah.
Or whatever, a whole block of timber. And he knew if he got there quick enough, it was his, and it just, the hens were almost came in running.
Really?
Like the hens were like, no, this is our block, almost. The quick glimpses I got of them, it almost felt like they were running in like a gobbler heard another gobble. He was like, no, not in my territory. Them hens were like, nope, not in my house, whatever. And he was just trying to keep up behind them, and work them through that thicket and not lose sight of them. But it was weird when he got to where he heard the call. He cut off just far enough to. He was trying to get around me there, to get back in that thick stuff, and I just had a window, And I mean, I shot him like 18 yards or something like that. It was something real close. I don't remember exactly, but it was close.
Sometimes that's all you need,
Yeah.
But that's why it's hard. There's so many times I've one last call, one last check here. It doesn't work, and then it takes one.
Yeah.
For it to, now I'm going to be late to a lot of things. That's we're going to get into it another day. We're going to get into it another day in Alabama. We were leaving the state, and I turned around. We were headed opposite, and I said, I can't leave and not try this one spot.
Yep. And I looked at you and like you got 10 minutes.
Mad. He did not want to. He was like, because we were worn slap out. I was like, you'd done been in Mississippi, and we stayed an extra day, and we were both dehydrated as all get out. And I was like, let's try one more spot. It worked, but now I know for the next 2 years I'm gonna have to go try every spot, because that reminds you that sometimes those last, Hail Marys make a lot of miles, a lot of efforts, a lot of mornings, a lot of money. Sometimes, if you're gonna get hotels and food and gas and stuff, makes that worth it.
Right.
A whole lot more than, coming back with nothing but tags in your pocket.
Yeah. That was another funny thing I forgot to talk about, was us trying to get tags in Florida. They didn't sell them at Walmart or something.
Oh, really?
Or their machine was down. And we get to the town, like, where we're hunting, and, we want to do it the old school way and get our tags at Walmart. It's, we needed to get a few groceries and stuff like that. And we're like, well, let's just make it. And Seals had already bought his, I think, online, but I hadn't, just because I'd been had a hectic couple of days before that. And I was like, and I'm a last minute guy.
Yeah.
Y'all will learn this. But either way, I walk in there and they don't sell me a license. Or no, it was more expensive. That's what it was. And Seals knew how much he had paid for his, and it was like $80 more expensive at the store for a processing fee or something, another. And I was like, well, heck, I can buy it in the parking lot. So, then that almost didn't work. We had to set up some other account, and like I didn't know if I had the right card or something. It was a hassle there for a minute. I remember I had to let Seals drive and let me figure it out. It took me like 30, 40 minutes to get a tag, and finally got it worked out. But there was a few things like that on the way down that was funny, us driving, stopping and picking back up. We were on the beach the morning of, and
that is kind of wild, yeah.
Went, which we didn't hang out or nothing on the beach. We woke up, ate breakfast, and rolled. So
don't get to do that too often,
No. And that was the only 2 days I didn't hunt until that point, which was, I'd only not hunted like 4 days, like 4 or 5 weeks in the season, which was unusual for me, because I've had a day job a lot longer than, or more recent than y'all had. Y'all have day jobs, but y'all make y'all schedule a little bit easier than I could in years past. And so like I didn't know I could wear myself down the points that I did this year, and I'll get on that more towards the Alabama hunts. But that was the following week after this, and this is I don't remember the day that I shot that turkey, but
it wasn't
long.
The week of the 20th usually.
So before Alabama,
we got down there on the 20th, so it'd been the 21st
or 2nd. Yeah. So, and of March.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, never mind. It felt like
Days
I'd
turned
hunted.
a week real quick.
Yeah, it felt like I'd hunted 4 weeks.
We hunted with Buchanan that Friday. We went to the trade show Saturday and left out.
What trade show was that? Birmingham?
No, it was in Raymond.
The Raymond thing.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
We left out that Saturday, stayed the night, got there Sunday, and our first time was Monday.
Right. So
yeah,
Them days start going into each other, and it ain't quite the easiest thing in the world.
No, it's a blur.
Yeah.
It's a blur for sure.
Things you forget to do is sleep and eat and stuff like that.
Oh, I was going to get into that when we wrap up the hunt about that drive home.
Man. So I follow. Hunter doesn't know any of this either at all. You want to start it off with that, Seal? So, or you want to talk about my mishaps? That's the end of the drive home.
Yeah. So we got the turkey. We took the pictures. Chase's first Osceola. So we took time and made sure that we had some good pictures with the big camera and all that. And then we went back to our camp spot where we were going to change and leave. Mm-hmm. We did change. We left. We put it in the GPS, and it was like 13 hours or something, which ended up being wrong. But I put that in, and Chase was like, no, this is bad. Because we were in his truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we started out, and I looked at Chase like, you all right? He's like, yeah. I was like, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
Thank goodness I did. Because I promise you, I think we switched drivers like every 2 hours.
Really?
We were absolutely beat. I mean, that first day, I obviously hunted the opener most of the day. The second day was when we hunted in Mississippi, and we didn't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
You got there. By the time we moved everything over, we just loaded. We had to leave at like 2:30.
Mm-hmm. It was a good chunk from where we were.
Right. So we didn't get back till late because it was a long drive. The next day we had the trade show. So me and Chase were up early.
Mm-hmm.
Then we left straight to. Anyway, it was.
I remember y'all being tired before leaving.
My week up to that, I was kind of over editing videos too. Yeah. So I killed on the opener. Y'all killed on, or Hunter Buchanan killed on the next day. Those videos we were posting day up.
To get 24 hours out.
Yeah. So I was staying up till midnight trying to get that finished every night, and waking up at 3 because everywhere I hunted was an hour plus from my house. Things like that. 3-4 hours of sleep a night for 2 weeks straight or a week straight.
You ain't used to that.
I'm not used to it.
There's some kids in there where you don't get to go home and take a nap.
Right. No. Yeah. I know. Thank goodness.
Go to work outside of work then.
Yeah. So we were tired. But I remember we swapped up. You slept till probably Mobile. I don't know. It was 4 or 5 hours.
I slept a second time almost to Mobile. I slept somewhere.
Yeah. We had swapped over and out. But I remember I was tired and I drank like 3 Monsters.
I'm sure.
And stuff. We were drinking tons of caffeine and by the time it was my turn to fall asleep for the last leg, I was going to get to sleep. Had planned to get to sleep. I couldn't fall asleep.
Oh, I bet not.
And so I'm over here just kind of like just forcing myself to close my eyes and all this. And where was it? Hattiesburg when we did the final swap.
Yeah,
I'd made it to Hattiesburg where I'd last swapped back from me supposed to be asleep to driving. And Seals, took his shift sleeping at some point. And man, it started wearing on me. What is that, 49?
Yeah.
Wherever the exit is to get on 49 in Hattiesburg
I know what you're talking about.
That weird, from the New Orleans to Mobile to Jackson intersection there. We were in sight of that turn, and I was thinking, if I can just get off here, I need gas, we'll pull over, I'll get Sealed. And I done got in a glaze. And I remember, I don't know if I nodded off or not, but I remember there was a blue Honda Civic in front of me that slammed on the brakes, and I locked them up. And I look up from locking them up, and there ain't a car in sight.
when he says he locked them up, I'm talking about like my forehead hit the dash.
We're going like 74 to 0 on and this is like 2 a.m. by the time we get situated.
There wasn't a car. It wasn't a car break, and I looked up, and there wasn't a headlight that you could see. A tail light, nothing.
Nothing.
You dreamed of wrecking.
I dreamed of a car slamming on brakes, and it might have saved us.
Yeah, probably did.
But I look over at Seals, and his eyes are big as mine.
We got to worry about nodding off for a while.
Oh, no, I drove the rest of the way wide awake.
Yeah. Sil said, I think it's time for me to drive. I said, I think it is.
On a serious note, I knew we were about to stop for gas. I made Chase pull over in the exit.
Yeah.
And I was like,
before the exit.
Like, I'm driving.
Yeah.
And I drove 2 miles, got gas, and drove home.
Yep. And it was not, I was like, I'm okay with this because I'm not sure I can make it around that loop and pull in that gas station after that happened.
Seemed easy a little minute ago, but not no more.
No. I had met my max of driving, and it wasn't anybody's. It wasn't Sil's fault. It was just like my shift had come. I knew I was changing in Hattiesburg. They say if you're gonna fall asleep driving, it's gonna be 10 minutes from your house.
Yeah.
90% of those happen that way because you're thinking of getting in bed or whatever. And I think I was thinking, I just got to make it 8 more miles because I knew I was like getting iffy. And like I was debating waking Sills up, and I was like, I can make it that extra 2 miles. Wake somebody up.
Yeah. No, I didn't mind driving from then on.
I bet not.
And I slept from Hattiesburg to Sills' driveway, and he said, "You wanna just crash here, man?" I'm like, nah.
Yeah,
I drove home.
I was legitimately worried. It's like, Chase, you just go sleep here. I got I got a guest suite.
I was like, I gotta get home. I'm gonna go to the house. Nobody let the dog out this evening because they thought I was coming home. I'm making it known, but by then I had slept.
Stayed up the rest of the day.
Yeah, I actually got home, edited the Florida video, and posted it at 5:30 in the morning, or 6 or 8 or whatever time. By the time I got done, it was 8, 9 o'clock the next day. I hadn't slept since Hattiesburg to Sills' house.
That's about how it works. Finally can.
And then I went hunting that afternoon.
Kicks in,
yeah. Then I went hunting that afternoon, I think. I slept for about 2 hours at 9 o'clock and woke back up around lunch. And
you can't make it up. Your body might be tired.
I was back awake,
but,
yeah. I wasn't in any kind of rhythm of it, anything. So I was like, I was almost aggravated that I couldn't sleep through the whole day. And I was finally like, I guess I'm going to go try and find a turkey.
Might as well.
Of course, didn't hear one. Walked about 9 miles and got home and really knocked out.
Yeah.
But
that's what makes you appreciate them a little more, that's for sure.
I forgot all about that riding home. That was.
Well, we're going to have 3 people in the truck this year, so.
Yeah.
Y'all still 2 probably going to want to be driving.
Yes.
But.
Yes.
I ain't going to wait nobody. I'm just going to ease on into the ditch.
Yeah. Hunter.
Oh, we know.
If y'all ever notice when me and Hunter go out of state, I'm in one truck and he is in his. And that's not necessarily just so we can cover more ground and meet back up at night. It is some of it.
Yeah.
But most of it is because I ain't got the nerves to ride with you.
Hunter always offers, like, y'all want to take my truck?
Nope. We're good, man. You just follow us.
Yeah. I got to have my truck because I don't know. I'm such on a whim. I'll peel off and call them, hey, I'm headed up to Minnesota instead. I changed my mind.
Hey, I'm 4 hours on the other side of the state that we're supposed to be hunting together.
Yeah.
What? Well, I'll be back. I'll see y'all in a week.
The weather looks good and looks good both places, but all of a sudden I want to hunt Easterns. I don't want to hunt Miriam's no more.
I've been on those trips that has happened. So,
but yep, got my own drum beat sometimes, but
sometimes.
Well, yeah, I guess that's not just turkey season, but no, it's we'll have I'm looking forward to taking trips, all 3 of us. I'll put it that way. Yeah. Because we haven't been able to do that really yet.
Yeah, having you back in Mississippi, starting point at the same spot is going to be.
And I'm looking forward to
way better.
I'm looking forward to y'all
and stuff.
Y'all being able to drive to where we're hunting and pick me up at the airport.
Yeah, I almost did that this year one time.
We don't go to that state no more. I'm like,
I know.
I told him.
Well, somewhere between Jackson Airport and wherever we was headed,
we
decided to turn.
No, the like you said, the driving is half the fun.
Exactly.
It is.
And that's
it's a lot better when you're with somebody.
Yeah.
I will say that.
There's times and places where like the last hunts of the year, I want to be by myself and do my own thing one more time and, soak it in and stuff like that. But there's sometimes I'm like, man, I really use somebody in here to just talk to,
just say
I hate talking on the phone. Right. I don't like talking on the phone. I'm not good. I'm barely good at driving. I'm really not good at talking on the phone and driving. And I usually got emails and stuff going on left and right and stuff that if I'm pulled over, that, that's maximizing that period right there.
Right.
10 minutes has to be used for that and all that stuff. And then I'm also trying to figure out where in the heck I'm going, where I'm hunting, what I'm doing. But
and hunters,
it's a lot easier when you got a co-pilot.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Hunters rather directionally challenged too. So
oh yeah,
as far as driving somewhere goes, you give him a gate, he's good, but getting him to the gate is gonna be the hard part.
ADD kicks in real quick, and I'm thinking, you better hope I don't see a turkey on the side of the road because I'm starting to think, okay, now we're in the spot.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking for land around here, and I'm trying to find if no public land permission to get around here because I think there's turkeys everywhere now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm in a rabbit hole, and now I'm up on top of this mountain. I'm like, well, this is a good spot. And lo and behold, I found a group of turkeys. I'm like, well, I'm going to hunt here now.
Right.
Screw Colorado.
Yeah.
I got some in, wherever I'm at. I've stopped several times in Tennessee because Tennessee's a long state. I wind up getting in Tennessee and driving down, and I always buy a license in Tennessee, like a yearly license, because I got to go through it a lot coming from Georgia.
Right.
And a lot of times I got to come out the west side of it from the east side, and a lot can happen on that drive. If I come across something or the weather's real good, I'm thinking, I'm getting kind of tired. I've been driving 4 hours, and I might just hunt here. And I don't even make it to the west side of Tennessee. I hunt there for 3 days and turn around and come back or something.
Right. No. Yeah, you did that.
Save some gas.
Done that a few times.
I don't disregard anybody trying to kill them in all the states or even kill grand slams, but I like hunting turkeys, period. If it's, if I got a tag in a state, I'm okay with this one close by just as much. And if it was up to me, I'd kill 50 in Mississippi if they'd let me. I'm down with that. A turkey, a long beard, a long beard, a long beard. But I do like going to see new stuff. Like I was a little bummed not being to go. I missed the white sand and the palmettos and the green sheen on the backs of turkeys way more than I missed killing an Osceola or anything. I missed, the cattle farms and stuff like that, look different than they do in Mississippi and everywhere else. And it's just anywhere like that. It's kind of like New Orleans. There ain't but one place in the world like New Orleans. Ain't but one place you can turkey hunt like Florida, and that is Florida. You can have some characteristics, I'm sure, in the low country, Carolina area. I think that's the right areas. Never hunted them. I'm kind of speaking on behalf of what I've seen. Right. And you got Spanish moss in Mississippi, but it's a little different.
A little different,
Yeah. And that's the little stuff you miss out on more than the actual, killing a turkey part. But like you said, there's the truck stops, the car rides. That's stuff I'm looking forward to this year. And hopefully there ain't a rabbit patch we head to. And how much briars. I don't need to bring my Carhartt bibs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We might just need to go ahead and load up the bush hog and tractor and tuck it on down with us.
Put a push mower in the back of at least get a weed eater or something.
Yeah.
You got to mow yourself out of there. But, well, that's good. That was a lot more details than I thought I had missed out on, so that was cool to get. Y'all got anything else to add before we wrap it up? Hop on to the next one.
I think
that's about all.
That covers most of it.
That's about all the Florida stuff.
Yeah, it's an eventful few days down there, that's for sure.
Yeah. It should be down in 2 or 3 days. It was a lot happening. That whole
it seems like it's always like that though.
Yeah.
I think the last 2 times we went, it was like that. Remember we had
but
this was worse.
It's worse.
Yeah,
it's different.
Well, these are some of the most tempted days, like tested days we've had in a while, or I'd had in a while. Because normally, I only hunt a handful of times a year.
You've already
because I've
exceeded the number of times you hunt the whole season by this point.
By this point, yeah. I think the year before, which would have been 22, I think I carried a gun like less than 10 times the whole season.
And all kinds of stuff going
just because of work and other things, and being places that I didn't necessarily have to be at. Or had to be at, I should say, that wasn't, it didn't involve turkeys. So, being able to do that this year was amazing, in a way, but I learned a lot of, how rough it can be and how good it can be and how rough it can be on your body and things like that. So, definitely a new world for me, but I'm glad I'm getting to experience it like y'all do, or you do, or whatever, how everybody does, when the people that do it. But yeah, that's about it.
Well, this year before we head down there, we're going to hop on some treadmills or something, bust a couple loops around the neighborhood, because I know that feeling of you ain't used to the toll it'll take on your, kind of endurance, so to speak. You forgot how quickly you can dehydrate when you're, the days are long. You're, hunting all day is a little different. You're hunting a box stand December 19th than it is hunting all day in the middle of March, late March and stuff. And the days are a lot longer, and you're moving a lot more, and it's hotter and all kinds of stuff, and a lot to get used to.
Oh yeah.
So, but all right, y'all. Well, we appreciate y'all tuning in and listening in on this, and remind y'all that y'all can go to the YouTube channel and watch the hunt we've been referencing. What little bit, I don't know how much y'all got aside from the the GoPro and the small camera footage, but I'm sure we'll piece together a good little episode for the whole Florida trip and kind of see some of the woes that they were talking about as well as some of the highs. I've seen the part where you do shoot the turkey is pretty cool. You got that pretty good. Him gobbling in the middle of that little hole. It's pretty cool. Encourage y'all to go give it a watch, and while you're at it, if you could, subscribe to it, and that'd be much appreciated. Shoot us over a rating, and if you listen to this on Apple or Spotify or wherever, a couple stars never killed nobody. That'd be good. I really appreciate those who have, gave us a good rating and a good review, and share the podcast and subscribe to the YouTube. That really drives us. That's the only thing that does drive us necessarily. That and the chance to get to talk turkey hunting. We'd just be doing this without a mic, and these mics ain't cheap. So that kind of stuff, really propels us forward so we can, increase our audience and grow and do what we need to do. So from us to you, thank you. And with that, we'll see you next week. Thanks again for listening to the Spring Legion Podcast.